Hey everyone, Alex here. In this video, we will show you how to transcend existential angst with non-duality. We'll talk about the four main types of existential concerns and what the non-dual view says about it all, which is that your true nature, the very essence of your being, is fundamentally and existentially safe and beyond any of these existential concerns. Existential angst, otherwise known as existential anxiety, is, as the name suggests, angst or anxiety about existence itself. These anxieties typically stem from four main existential concerns. Number one, death. Number two, isolation, being alone. Number three, meaninglessness. Number four, freedom. And one more, number five, the nature of reality. Existential anxiety can manifest in various thoughts and feelings that revolve around fundamental concerns of the human existence, and some common what-if thoughts that people might experience with existential anxiety include, with the fear of death, what if there's nothing after I die? What if my existence simply ceases? With isolation, what if I am truly alone in the world? What if no one can ever truly understand or connect with me on a deeper level? With meaninglessness, what if my life has no purpose or meaning? What if everything I do is ultimately insignificant? With freedom and responsibility, what if I'm making the wrong choices? What if there's no free will and I can't do anything anyway? And with the nature of reality, what if nothing is real? What if this is all a dream or a simulation? Or what if the true nature of reality at its core is a dark and scary place? And the feelings that accompany these thoughts manifest as physical sensations in the body, as a contracted or tense state that may present itself as an anxious feeling or anger or inner turmoil. So the first step to overcoming existential angst is to first recognize that you are this wide open space of awareness in which these existential thoughts and feelings appear. Expand your attention fully outwards and see the full view. See yourself as this open, empty space of awareness in which your whole life unfolds. Then see that currently this awareness is manifesting as your human experience. Recognize that existential anxiety is a normal part of the human experience. You are not alone in this. Many people have experienced and moved beyond confusions and fears that they thought might drive them crazy, because you are fundamentally and existentially safe. The second step is to accept it. But in order for this to be effective, it has to be true acceptance and not just acceptance using the mind. With acceptance using the mind, you try to tell yourself that you accept it. And this can be helpful to some degree. You can repeat the mantra, I accept and allow these anxious thoughts and feelings, which can help distract you and slow down the mind activity. But ultimately, trying to accept existential angst using the mind without first recognizing your true nature as awareness can simply perpetuate more thinking, because it reinforces the illusion that there's someone in the mind that can accept or not accept. In reality, that's another thought. And as you may well have already experienced, thoughts tend to shift rapidly based on how you're feeling. True acceptance is recognizing that your true nature as this wide open space of awareness is already acceptance itself, and no thought about accepting anything is required to see this. You can notice in your experience that this open space of awareness that you are, in your essence, naturally accepts every thought and feeling that appears within it and is unharmed by them. In fact, It's the consciousness that gives them their reality. These thoughts and feelings depend on an apparent you being aware of them. But see, in your experience, that these thoughts and feelings come and go like waves on the ocean. They rise and they fall and disappear with no trace. But you're always here, as the whole appearance and beyond it, untouched by any thought or feeling or appearance. Except that frustrating or fearful thoughts and feelings about existence or reality will likely reappear. And instead of that being a problem, see it as an exciting opportunity to explore deeper. Which leads us on to the third step, which is to lean in. I know this might seem hard to actually lean into your existential fears. They are, after all, the deepest fears. How much deeper can you go than existence itself? Leaning into them means allowing them by recognizing yourself as this already allowing and accepting space, allowing thoughts and feelings about death, freedom, isolation, meaningless, or the nature of reality to come to the surface and to rise and fall like waves on the ocean and disappear with no trace. Allow the thoughts and the feelings to manifest in whatever way they're going to. And notice that when this happens, the thought may arise, okay, then now what? For example, what if life has no meaning? Okay, then now what? Can we ever be sure that it has no meaning? And even if there isn't, do we even need meaning? Am I fundamentally safe either way? Or what if I'm truly alone? Okay, then now what? Can I know that for sure? And if I am awareness, if I am the whole appearance, then aren't I everything and everyone anyway? Allow these chains of thoughts and feelings to explore themselves and resolve. They arise and they fall in this unharmable space of aware presence. Avoiding and resisting the fears has the effect of amplifying them. And when that happens, you have your attention exclusively focused onto thought activity. You have your attention in the mind, imagining yourself to be a person who's anxiously trying to figure it out, or apathetic and depressed about an idea that there's no free will or everything's meaningless. But notice, all of this is in duality, and your true nature is non-dual, which transcends duality. Remember, for there to be fear of death, there has to be life. There has to be a separate entity that has a life and which can die. But these are dualistic concepts that only exist in opposition to each other. The real you transcends these concepts and is in fact the timeless space of awareness which birth and death appear within, and which itself transcends birth and death. For there to be individual free will, there has to be the idea that the individual can have no free will. They're two sides of the same coin. The real you transcends these dualistic concepts. Really, there is only the one will of the one consciousness, of which your individual free will is an expression of. For there to be isolation, there has to be connection. There has to be distinct entities that can be connected or disconnected from each other. The real you is the timeless presence of awareness, manifesting as all experience. It's the ground of being itself. And it's what we share with all 8 billion people on this planet, and however many trillions of animals. It's the fundamental experience of every one of us. So there was always oneness and always wholeness. And for things to have no meaning, there must be the idea that things can have meaning. But those ideas only exist in dualistic relationship. The real you transcends these ideas, and meaninglessness is a double bind anyway. Because if you think anything about meaninglessness, then you're making meaning out of it, and then it's no longer meaningless. If things were truly meaningless, you wouldn't be able to worry about it anyway, because you wouldn't be able to think about it. But if you want to, think about it this way. Is the true value of a dance in the meaning of the dance? I know that's valuable too, but is the true value not simply the beauty of the dance itself, without having to say whether or not it has any meaning? And lastly, for things to not be real, other things have to be fake. In non-duality and spiritual scenes, they often say reality is an illusion, but an illusion doesn't mean that it's not real. It's just that it turns out not to be what you thought it was. True reality is beyond thought. It's the space that thoughts appear within. Whether it's real or unreal, we know one thing for sure: it's present. And we are the presence in which this whole reality, dream or simulation appears within. Whatever way you want to describe it, it's this. And of course, no description can get outside of it to truly capture it. The mind can't ever grasp the ultimate reality because it's simply an appearance of the ultimate reality, which is your true nature. True nature is okay with that and undisturbed by that, because it's the one giving life to the appearance, and it's what's doing the whole thing. You are the simulation, you are the dream, you are the reality. See and know yourself as that. Rest in the experience of yourself as the whole appearance. Experience yourself as being ultimately untouched by this angst and fear. That's how you transcend existential angst. And really, there is no how, because there's nothing to do about it. Simply experience yourself as this accepting and allowing space that these thoughts and feelings appear within. Allow them to go through the motions. See the personal mind activity questioning everything and trying to get to a resolution. Allow it to come to a resolution. See that the feelings arise as physical, energetic sensations in the body and nothing more. Allow them to rise and fall in this vast openness of yourself. And lastly, if you're thinking, but what if I don't exist? Just remember, there has to be an I to exist or not anyway. The concept of self and no self exist in duality. Call it the real you or just what is. It simply is. And in our human experience, that can simply be just fine. So what did you think of this video? If you liked it, let me know in the comments below. Should I make more like this or something else? And if you're interested in enrollment for the Awake and Aware program, just go to speaktoalex.com. Link to that's in the description, plus a couple of freebies. So check them out. See you in the next video. Peace.